The Cherokee Indian Tribe.
When we think of Native Americans, we think of people who cultivated our land before the Europeans settled it, the people in headdresses and a loincloth. One group of Native Americans were called the Cherokee. Cherokee Indians were commonly found in parts of North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, also known as the Appalachian Mountain region. However, many can still be found today, however, they are found more out west. Here, they developed their land and culture. During the early years, Cherokee used color to represent different meanings. East and red were similar to victory and power. West and black meant death. North and blue meant sadness and defeat. And south and white meant peace and harmony. In the late 1800s, their land was taken by growing developers. This forced the Cherokee to move out west. This move was also known as the Trail of Tears. The Trail of Tears happened because a treaty was made by the government, which was made to reassign American Indians to West reserves. Many died or fell ill during this time. Illnesses such as whooping cough, typhus, dysentery, cholera, and starvation were all epidemics along the way. Historians estimate more than 5,000 Cherokee died as a result of this journey, hence the name Trail of Tears.
Art has a large role in Cherokee history. Cherokee artists typically use natural materials including river cane, clay, wood, and stone. Some other forms include basketry, pottery, stone carving, wood carving, beadwork, finger weaving, and traditional masks resembling handcrafted works of art by the Cherokee. These handcrafted works were passed down from generation to generation. Each art piece was held at a high significance for that reason. Another important work of art were beads. Beads in Cherokee history were originally made by shells, teeth, bones, and claws of wild animals. Dry berries and gray Indian corn was also used as beading. These beads were used in decorating clothing and crafting accessories. Beads were commonly added to moccasins, bags, pincushions, needle cases, sport caps, picture frames, match holders, clothing, and hanging bags. Music is another common form of art and performance that Cherokee use as expressions or entertainment. Music is considered sacred and is used for healing and building community connections. Some elements of Cherokee music include flutes, drums, rattles, fiddles, percussion, guitar, and mandolin. Cherokee music usually includes lyrics and vocals with tribal stories and chants. This means including strong, rhythmic beats and dancing. Tribal songs are used to invoke power of nature and spirits. However, most commonly music is used in part of religious and ceremonial traditions. This because there is usually elements of prayer incorporated into songs. Singing was an important part of Aboriginal and post-contact ceremonial life. For religious and other purposes, texts are sung in Cherokee, but other tunes and the manner of harmonizing are derived from non-native sources. As well, with this, if there is dancing during a religious ceremony, that means deep significance. We will get into that later in the video. As music evolves in the United States, so does Cherokee music. In this upcoming video, you will be seeing a traditional drum circle by the Cherokee Indian.
The Cherokee were very well versed with literature. Cherokee is derived from the word Cherokee, which means people of different speech. They created their own language. George Guest developed characters to represent each syllable, and he was successful in doing so. And his syllabary contains 86 syllables. Cherokee was one of the first Native American languages to have a system for dividing different elements and a syllabary. Today, about 2,500 people speak it fluently. The Cherokee had many traditions that were important to their culture. These traditions were important and symbolized different meanings. For instance, the sun dance, the sweet ceremony, as well as the warriors of Anegada were popular traditions among the Cherokee. The sun dance was a popular Cherokee tradition, which was their way of offering thanks to nature. For this tradition, elders would teach the younger men the dance and paint their faces and bodies. Eventually, the dancers would have a vision dream, which they would meet the spirits of the elders and determine their own name. Some would use a buffalo head, which was painted, to offer their thanks for food and clothing.
In the following video, you will be watching a traditional sun dance by the Cherokee Indian tribe.
The sweet ceremony was also a popular tradition in which the Cherokee would cleanse themselves of evil spirits. Different rituals for this ceremony consisted of the ceremony had to be done in a closed hut. Then they would put hot rocks in a small hole in the corner of the hut and pour cold water over them, which would create steam. They would sit there for hours, sweating and provoking the spirits. After that was done, they would then leave the hut and pour cold water on themselves to welcome themselves back to the natural world. The warriors of Anegada were performers that would display actions of Cherokee war dance or the eagle tail dance. This would be performed when men went to war, meaning people of peace or diplomacy. Most times they would perform at Cherokee social dances such as the bear dance, beaver hunting dance, and the friendship dance. This culture was quite familiar with their surroundings by being located in the Appalachian Mountain region. There was a vast ecology. The Cherokee knew which plants were safe to use and others to avoid. They used plants for food, medicine, dye, fiber, and much more, making uses of plants essential oils for the Cherokees' living styles. Some plants held high significance in the rituals.
In this video, you will watch a traditional Cherokee eagle dance.
For many years, the Cherokee had their own ceremonies for religious purposes. The Cherokee religion was called zootheistic, and they strongly believed in supernatural forces and believed that all human beings were linked to other living things. They worshipped a creator that they called the Unetilahi. The Unetilahi was worshipped through song and dance. The Cherokee used homemade instruments for their religious music. Along with their worship, the Cherokee had a strict law about not killing unless it was for survival, and they took it very seriously if they killed someone or another person or animal if it wasn't necessary. The Cherokee believed an unnecessary killing created an imbalance and the only way for it to be restored was to get revenge or a sacrifice.
In the following video, it will display a traditional religious tribal dance.
In the 1800s, Baptist ministries began to work with the Cherokee. The Cherokee started to adapt the views of the Baptists. By the 1900s, there was established Cherokee Baptist churches. Many of these churches still stand and are primarily used for their religion today.
Through looking at groups like the Cherokee Indians, it expands our cultural understanding by shining light on other groups in America. Most of the Native Americans were overlooked in our cultures and weren't really discussed within schools and educational circumstances. But through this time, we were able to look at their Cherokee's own traditions, language, and education styles. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Cherokee Indian Native American tribe.